the most globally. Like, that is actually just pretty insane.
It's incredible.
Very, very impressive to have that level of dominance in your region, and we're going to see how well he is going to be able to match up for his squad here against Bolulu. As Fenerbahce, certainly the favorites in this match. Isris are lagging behind in this group and really do need to start piecing together some wins. This is do or die for them. Only first place in the group gets out to the next stage.
And has to play up against Team Liquid as well. So you want to be stepping up that level of performance. Team Liquid are no slouch. Very difficult team to take down. Of course, if you do lose that first knockout game, you have a second where you play the loser of the Group B knockout. So you do have 2 shots at that MSI choke.
And that is why, you know, it's so important, especially here in Group A, where you're feeling like, hey, these guys are so incredibly strong. There is, you know, this group that is considered the group of death. Even if you get out and theoretically you were to lose to Team Liquid, well, if this is the strongest group, then you should be confident going up against anyone from Group B. We'll see if that does actually, you know, kind of come true later on. And both Kindred and Karthus are taken off the table, so that would lead you to believe it's going to be Talia from Kirei. He certainly does have other picks in his back pocket, but those have been his number 3 go-to for him.
But you have left Rise open here for Ruin in that top lane again. It is a flex pick, of course, but Ruin tends to be the one that takes it on the side of Fenerbahce. Galio was the first pick for Bugax. For Isris, probably going down towards Slow in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and it's one of his most played. Certainly we have seen it be very, very effective when paired up with a lot of divers. We have seen it effective with Camille. We've seen it effective with even the Kaisa as a way in, with the Hecarim. You know, there are a lot of options to actually dive in with this Galio, but having the Braum picked up on the other side does mean you have to be wary of something like a Lucian Braum, which we have seen punish the Galio at times. I do like the Varus as a pick here. Certainly a strong, safe laner. Regardless of what you're going to be going up against, it is going to bring consistent damage going into the later stages of the game, and it is a very, very powerful 2v2.
It's also what Isris picked last time they played up against Fenerbahce and were able to get that slight lead in the bottom lane. They were playing into Tristana Braum then. We'll see if that is what Fenerbahce decide to utilize this Braum for. There's the Akali we talked about.
Okay. Not
banned out, picked up by Isris. Could go to Bugax, could go to Seo, of course, in that mid lane.
Yeah, certainly could be flexed either way. Seo and Bugax, or Bugax, I believe.
Bugax, yes.
Does have, they both have 1 play on the champion, so certainly, you know,
however,
could go either way.
Sea's won with it, and Bugax has lost.
Oh, there you go.
I think we know where it's going.
100% win versus 0% win. It is going to be Ezreal, so certainly a more defensive option here. I do think that makes sense when you're looking at Fenerbahce and you're knowing that they generally want to play around top lane. I think playing around, you know, that bottom lane, you can't be on both sides of the map at the same time for Kirei. He certainly does do a good job of kind of dividing his attention, but I'm going to be interested to see if Isris just continues to target Kirei's champion, right? Like, why not just ban out the Talia, ban out some of these other comfort picks and really push him down, because those big 3 are certainly his go-tos, and you can deny him the ability to take any one of those now, and then, you know, that may give Audi and Bugax a more of a fighting chance up in that top lane 2v2.
Yep. The other option is to try and get rid of things that are good into Akali, getting rid of the Silas here. Nocturne and Olaf removed by Fenerbahce, so they're actually sort of pinching that jungle champion pool quite a lot themselves.
And to be fair, hey, maybe they're not worried about the Talia because they do have a lot of burst, a lot of CC already drafted through. Akali, Varus, Galio. The Akali can be dashing forward onto that Talia, giving the Galio a way in. Certainly Talia is generally a very squishy champion. Akali does have the ability to burst her down, as well as all that follow-up CC being there, so they are going to leave the Talia up. Kirei may not even go to it. He certainly can play other champions and, you know, maybe looking towards something else regardless.
A lot of different jungle options. Could even go for something like the Sejuani, something more, you know, traditional.
I mean, Jarvan's even still up, right? Like,
no,
you know,
Jarvan was banned by Fenerbahce.
My mistake, sorry.
It's okay.
You know, there are things, you know, like that you can go for. I do believe Sejuani is available if you want to play more of that frontline style. Elise, very strong early game jungler. Also something that is, I believe, to be the kind of best diving jungler.
Oh, incredibly good.
Being able to reset with the repel is incredibly strong in any sort of top lane 2v2. They're fairly magic damage heavy though already with this composition, so you may want to try to grab something like an AD mid laner. Ezreal certainly does do physical damage, but is a fair bit of mixed. Rise and Elise, both pure magic damage. No true tank on the other side, but always something to be concerned about.
Definitely is. Isra's trying to find their answer towards this possible top lane dive. I mean, Moon Prison into Cocoon is pretty deadly. I would have liked to see them pick a tank for Bugax. Hecarim is the first lock. Could go to Odi, of course, in the jungle. Yeah. He has got that Ghost as a summoner spell right now, so expect the Hecarim to be there. I want a tank. I want something like a Scion to try and dissuade that dive from Fenerbahce.
Yeah, I do think that can be a really good option. It's going to be the Aurelia, though. We will see where he wants to go here. Rune, instant lock on the Renekton. So Renekton, Elise, you talk about a good jungle diver. Yeah. This is certainly an incredibly threatening duo, especially post-6. Renekton, one of the best champions in the game at diving those turrets as well. Another option he could have gone to if he wanted to go more for scaling is something like the Jax I was thinking about, but he wants all early game. Elise, Renekton, you have Rise that can head up with the Realm Warp roaming towards that top side. If I was Bugax, I would be very, very scared. And Audi, you do not want to run into, as an early game Hecarim, and Elise, that is terrifying.
Is that Renekton mid?
Oh, they actually both swapped it around.
At the last moment. Renekton mid for Balulu, Irelia for Seiya, the Akali going towards the top lane. I like that in terms of the dive, because you can just pop the Twilight Shroud and stay safe underneath your own tower. Not sure how the Irelia is going to deal with a Renekton in the mid lane. I haven't seen a mid lane Irelia-Renekton matchup ever.
Yeah, but you know, one of the nice things there for the Aurelia is generally these matchups are more difficult in the top lane because it is that longer, more dangerous lane. The coaches couldn't find each other. He's gonna get him. I believe that we'll have faith that a handshake
happens. You can't miss a handshake. Yeah. You can't miss it.
I respect it, but you know, Renekton is going Ignite, is going press the attack. This is all in like early game style. You want to dominate this Aurelia, but you know, the mid lane is easier to kind of manipulate the wave. It's harder to actually, you know, freeze against your opponent and kind of force them to come forward. It's not as long of a lane, so it's harder to all in the Aurelia. So I do think you're going to feel more safe as Seiya, you know, on the Aurelia in the mid lane than you would if it was up on the top lane for Bugax, but still going to be a very tough matchup.
It'll be a very fun matchup to watch as well. Isra's Gaming, last chance saloon for them. They have to win this to have a chance of qualifying out of the group. Fenerbahce trying to equalize Fengvu Buffalo at 3-1 if they take this victory.
Yeah, and it is really nice also as far as, you know, I mentioned rounding out kind of your damage composition, right? It's another fizzle.
Yeah, you said you wanted AD.
Dealer, so they do end up with that AD mid laner. And not what I expected, certainly, but I think it's a great answer to Aurelia, and I'm excited to see how this actually does play out. You'll notice Rune is also Comet. Very frequently when you do see Rises start with that Comet, they will start W. The W hit confirms your Comet, and you can kind of go for these little trades where it is just the Rune Prison, the Comet lands, you get an auto or two down, and you just kind of try to harass, just as we got
exactly what he does. Bugax trading back into him, gets out of range, uses that passive pretty effectively, and the 5-point strike. And, I mean, Rune's got time to back away here and get back into the lane. I expect Kirei to start. It looks like he actually might be trying to get a little bit of vision on that scuttle. Can go down towards the bottom side, of course, as Fenerbahce push forward just a little bit here to get some vision on Isris Gaming.
Yeah, they do have to be a bit careful, though. You know, this is a Galio. He's going in.
Japone on the wrong side, taunted up. Unable to get out of here, and First Blood's going to go across towards Isris. You said they had to be careful. They were not. And Isris get First Blood.
Japone was trying to run towards the Raptors to get out of the taunt, but the only way you're actually getting out of there is if you flash towards the river, probably. And also seems like he very likely had already skilled his Q. You don't want to start W, but if you actually save your skill point and you flash towards the river and you W to Ezreal, you probably get out. Instead, I mean, you know, you hate to call something free, but that was a free First Blood, essentially. Just cost.
They walked into them.
Yeah. And that is now Seiya who got First Blood. So you counterpick with the Renekton, you go Ignite, you're like, yep, time to slam this guy. Oh, just kidding. He's going to start with 400 extra gold.
Long joke. But the big thing about that as well is Hades gets forced off the wave. They're going to be behind an XP down towards this bottom lane. Slow didn't even have to burn Flash, so there's always a possibility of a Flash taunt at that level 2. Mid lane, Seiya has teleport to the Ignited Balulu, so he can teleport back into that lane as soon as he gets that phage really on the Aurelia, and will be in such a strong position into that Renekton. We need to see Kirei from Fenerbahce actually try and equalize some of this early game lead that Isris have.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty devastating to actually have First Blood go to the TP mid laner against the Ignite Renekton, who is a more early game champ, who is kind of for that counter pick. You want to dominate. It's going to mean, as you say, Aurelia will get to her first buy a lot faster. And whether that is the Phage or something along the lines of a Tiamat, which can really help you kind of set up for the Blade Surge resets along the kind of casters there, will be interesting. Bolulu can certainly set up very well for an Elise gank. The empowered stun into a Cocoon can certainly be deadly there, but if you cannot punish this Aurelia, if you just go even or even fall behind as the Renekton, you're now facing down a team that can 1-3-1, and you're only going to have one teleport on your soul laners to answer. Sure, you can send Ezreal out to a side lane, but you don't want Ezreal laning against Aurelia or Akali.
Kira able to take a 3 buff here as he steals away that blue. Oddie had actually backed away to get the Stalker's Blade before getting back in towards the lane, so it's a little bit of an advantage. Seiya trading onto Bolulu here. Bolulu building up those Fury stacks. A Colder Meek obviously gives you extra healing if you get it off when you are in that red bar zone. Kira looking for the Cocoon here, out of vision. Seiya staying on the right side of the minions. It makes it a lot harder for that Cocoon to hit. There is the flawless duet. Kira coming in, force him out. There's the Predator and the stun lands. Good stuff from Fenerbahce. You talked about being able to tower dive, where you just get between the towers as Fenerbahce get a kill in return.
That was honestly a sick dive. Seiya played that very respectfully, and now they're looking for slow, but should be able to get out. It does cost them 3 summoners, and Seiya does not blow his flash. He has TP, so it's not devastating. It's not like lane is over, and the kill also went to Kirei, not Bolulu, so he's going to actually be down summoners and still down gold, very likely. But that being said, very nice play. They know they needed to get something done in that mid lane, and they're able to force it despite the fact that Seiya was being very respectful. Yeah, he was so far back, and he was on the right side of minions, knowing Elise could be playing top side.
Probably as safe as you can play this. You look at, he's on the right side of the minions, and then Bolulu's just like, no, slice and dice, flashes in for the Ruthless Predator.
Yeah, I mean, he is also only last hitting with his stun. It's not like he's walking in melee range. He was playing that very carefully, but that is the power of the dive between these two champions. And post 6, it just gets more dangerous as you have not only the turret aggro reset with the repel, but Renekton with all the bonus HP you actually get when you're popping your ultimate. You have the ability to tank up additional tower shots, and he certainly is building for that early game. Double Doran's Blade, as well as that longsword, is going to put him in a pretty strong position.
See how safe Seiya's playing in this lane as well. Just giving up CS, saying, okay, I can't push any further forward. Don't want to get caught out by that Elise. Has just hit, he's at level 5, building up towards that level 6, but Kira still only at 4. Oddie doing his bottom side jungle, maybe looking for something down here, but really at the moment, Oddie hasn't been able to do too much. Probably just looking for that level 6. Yeah. And he can impact the map a little bit more.
Exactly, and I mean, if you run into the Elise as the Hecarim, if you face check him, you're going to get slammed, right? And that is certainly something he has to be very, very careful about. But if you can power farm, if you can get ahead in that regard, hey, you're going to be feeling very good. And Bolulu with a really nice trade. Seiya going back in, puts himself in kind of a pretty dangerous spot because your health is low enough that you could get dove. They're going bot lane, though.
Down towards the bottom side. The lock-up on Chapone is perfect. Hades, though, will get a counter kill. It actually goes across towards Chapone. Hades underneath the turret here, forcing away Isua's Gaming. Angelus and Ori can't really do too much about this. The Cocoon's going to land in the mid lane. Seiya lands the flawless duet, though, and Kirei taken out by Seiya. Return kill for Bolulu, and he'll get some plates in the mid lane, so he's actually pretty happy with that trade.
Yeah, good trade from Seiya. He played that very well to get a kill, but the fact that you die with the minion wave at your turret and the kill goes to the Renekton is going to feel really, really good for them. That is, 3 waves I think he's actually going to lose because there was a double stacked wave, plus he can push in the next one. That is really punishing. Experience is such an important resource in this game, and seeing all these minions die to the turret as you make that slow walk back to lane it's painful, man.
Yeah, definitely is. Look at that solo lane comparison as well. Yep. Top lane, 52 farm to 37 in favor of Fenerbahce and Ruin. 52 to 35 in mid lane in favor of Fenerbahce and Bolulu. These solo lanes are giving Fenerbahce about 1,000 gold lead.
Yeah, that is huge. And slow on flash, ignite, dropped on Chapone. He gets smoked there, but a good job by Hades, threading that Q. That is the last hit of the Braum passive, and then here is that mid lane dive. Kirei, because he repels aggressively, he can no longer reset the turret aggro, he can no longer dodge out on that stun, and Seiya trades kill back. That was well played, but again, losing that many minions to the turret really, really hurts.
Feels a bit like Kirei didn't expect the stun, the flawless duet, to last that long. Because he kind of went in, it's like, oh, he put it down, it's going to expire by now, and it just didn't. So.
Or maybe he thought Bolulu could get there faster, right? Like, he didn't really join until after Kirei was already dead, so or as he was dying. So maybe you're thinking, hey, I'm going to go in aggressive, but Bolulu will peel for me with his stun, and then I'll survive. Hard to really know. Either way, still worth, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm going to be excited to see where exactly Bolulu goes with the build. Will it be something like Black Cleaver into Sterix? Will it actually, be an even more aggressive build? So you do see some of the Renekton one-tricks going more heavily into AD.
Spear of Sojourn is something
Spear of Sojourn is great as well.
Now 3 players around that mid lane. Hero's entrance though coming out from Isra. Saya still alive, isn't stunned up with the concussive blows, lands the flawless duet's gonna jump back in, there's one. Oddie landed the onslaught of shadows, Kirei forced away, looking for those stun procs from the Braum passive, but they can't quite get it. The repel up, back down to his doom, the spider is stomped, and Isra's gaming get 2 in the mid lane.
Japone just needed to auto Oddie.
Yep.
He was sitting at 3 stacks of the concussive blows, just punch him, and your jungler probably would have lived there, but either way, he does get out. It is those 2 kills going over the way of Isra Gaming. That was a critical play for them to pull off. They're constantly attacking Saya, punishing him with this counter pick, and that is a big turnaround for them. So Kirei here one more time, 3-man collapse, but in comes Galio, in comes Oddie. Saya able to escape, able to avoid that Braum passive being procced. He does go back in and goes down, but this is what I'm talking about right here. Braum just needs to punch him. Just right-click him. He tries to hit him with the Q, but right-click him.
It's a support. You don't auto-attack a support. I know. Play a lot of support in solo queue. You don't need to use your auto-attack. It's all about spells.
I hate to see that happen. That would be a tilter for me. I'm going to say that.
Going back to our 5 AM solo queue experience to say, but Isra's Gaming holding on to this game after a pretty strong early start from Fenerbahce. We've seen Isra's fight back, 3 kills now on Saya in that middle lane. Has gone Tiamat, like you said, now into the Phage, building up towards that Trinity Force. And Bolulu isn't as far ahead as Fenerbahce would like.
He's actually behind, right? He's down 300 gold. The experience, he may be a little bit ahead of experience. I'm not quite sure, but either way, they're going to be feeling really good about how this has ended up. If Renekton isn't slamming the Aurelia, you're really happy. I mean, he can play in that side lane, whereas Bolulu is going to be much more limited, right? If you go down to the bottom lane as Aurelia, you're splitting down. If he wants to match you, there's opportunities for cross-map plays where he cannot do that.
So the question to me then becomes, Ruin, how can he match in towards Saya? Because Ruin is the split push threat for Fenerbahce. If we're going to say Saya on the Aurelia wants to get into a side lane, Ruin is ahead in his lane. He's building up those items. He's stacking up with that tier now. At some point, we're probably going to see that Ryze match up into that Aurelia.
Yeah, and I mean, thankfully for Saya, he's also going to be ahead of Ruin because he has 3 kills to his name, right? So if you are ahead, as far as the itemization goes, I certainly think it is winnable. I think that the Ryze can just kind of pressure and try to avoid taking an all-in fight, but they're going to go for a kill now.
Predator comes in, the flash forward from Bolulu. They get the kill. Oddie here, but really no damage done yet to the Fenerbahce. Jungle and mid. He needs to get away. Doesn't have flash. Onslaught of Shadows was already used. There's a true shot barrage. He's going to escape for the moment.
Yeah, he is able to get out of there. Has to use the ult defensively after Saya did go down, and you're seeing how quickly they can burst him out. But Ryze certainly can match the Aurelia. I do generally tend to feel like once Aurelia has a fair bit of tankiness, a lot of items under her belt, it can get harder for the Ryze to actually win a long fight there. But we will see, where he decides to go. The fact that he's itemizing more for the Renekton will make it easier for the Ryze.
Big trade here from Morangelus. They're just going to get the 2v2 kill. Kirei's going to land the Cocoon, but it's only onto the Galio. Slow lands the Winds of War. Kirei forced away. Morangelus getting some damage down with that piercing arrow. Repel comes up. The taunt double flash in. Going for it. Kirei so low. The Winds of War not quite enough. Slow locked up underneath that minion wave, but for the moment is okay. Oddie coming in towards the top lane now as Ruin tries to get away, but the devastating charge will knock him back. He doesn't have the mana to survive. Had flash, but didn't think he could get out. Perfect execution from the Akali and from Isserus in the top lane.
Yeah, really nice all in there. It had been Ruin pressuring that matchup for so long, but they're able to come up there, get the kill with the Akali ultimate, and honestly, really well played by Isserus on the bottom side of the map at the same time. The fact that Slow knows to actually step back in to absorb the Cocoon, to keep Morangelus safe, allows them to pressure out in that 2v2. And even a plate going to Bugax, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about this. You need to make sure you're not falling too far behind this Ryze, because really the way that you win is the all-in. It is not kind of the slow, methodical matchup.
He's gone for those Mercurial Treads and building up towards Hex, that Gunblade. Hades going to get a second tower plate down towards this bottom side. It means the goal's pretty even between the two teams as we crest the 12.5 minute mark. very even across the board, actually. And looking for any big disadvantages. Can't really see him. It's 200 gold here or there, Azael.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much dead even. No one has made a move towards a neutral objective whatsoever. So, you know, that Cloud Dragon is not feeling that important, I guess, for either side. I will point out, though, that it is extra nice for a Hecarim because that is kind of additional damage for you. The faster you go with that E, the more damage you are getting from it. So that is always going to be something nice. And if you are trying to kind of play side lanes, having the additional move speed, it can be pretty effective in both chasing down and escaping from any potential ganks.
A little bit of a group here from Fenerbahce, from Iswas down towards the Cloud Drake. He said Odi might want it for the Hecarim. He agrees with you, Azael.
There you go.
Great minds think alike. Of course, fools seldom differ as well, so don't take it as too much of a compliment, but there is the Cloud Drake going across towards Iswas. 30 minutes in, they might trade it though for a Rift Herald as Kiri starts it up. No real vision control for Iswas up towards this top side, so not aware that this is happening, or even if they are, they don't seem to care too much.
Yeah, and it's hard, you know, even if you do know that it's happening to this point, you probably can't actually make the play up there. Bolulu back, he does have the cleaver completed. Certainly a very strong point in the game for him, and he's going to be pretty happy in this matchup until Aurelia does complete Triforce. But seeing as we did see Seiya go towards the Tiamat first, you are certainly going to be delayed in that regard.
Rift Tower actually going to be used mid here as well, looking for that first tower. Odi's on his way up. As you say, they should, because Bolulu is just chipping away at that. Odi trying to get here in time, but that Rift Tower charge should be enough. Takes it down. First tower across towards Fenerbahce as they strike first in terms of those turret bloods.
Yeah, and a lot of gold in the pocket of Bolulu there. Does pick up the 450, gets the local gold, plus the first turret bonus, and they're going to Hades.
Yeah, Hades just chunked out. The Onslaught of Shadows across the wall as well, as Hades will get taken out with the Rampage. Odi on the chase here. They can continue to push onto Chapone because he's really got nowhere to go. Flashes the wall, will escape for the moment. And meanwhile, the rest of Isras are looking for that bottom lane. You can see War Angelus pushing in. This turret shouldn't be long for Summoner's Rift. War Angelus can take that by himself. Isras coming up here is Kire. Gets face checked in by Seiya. There's the flawless duet. They land the knockup. Repel still available for the Elise. Odi on his way up, but the taunt lands just in time. Seiya chunked out Bolulu, trying to get onto the back line, but lots of damage coming out from the rest of the team. Bolulu caught up with that flawless duet. Seiya doesn't really want to jump back in, but the double taunt's going to be enough. However, Bolulu turns it back around with a Call of Meek. Can't quite get the final shot on towards Slow. Ends up being a 3-for-1 trade in favor of our LATAM representative.
Yeah, very costly fight for Fenerbahce, honestly. Some pretty big mistakes there from them as Hades Arkin shifting into Slow. Does not know that Adi is around. He gets first down, and that kind of triggers this whole exchange. And Isras Gaming, honestly, layering their CC very well, playing out these skirmishes really, really well here. Utilizing the taunt, utilizing that to set up the stuns here for the Aurelia. And Bolulu could not actually connect to his targets to really finish off anyone.
The Triumph really helping out Seiya in that fight as well. You can see him healing up from it a lot. I thought at this point, you know, you face check into an Elise, you're more often than not dead.
Yeah, but the Galio comes in very quickly, despite the fact that it was a good repel. The taunt lasts long enough to actually get there. Then Bolulu dropping the Ignite, doesn't have flash, can't actually come through. And you can see they wait till the stun lands, Justice Punch comes out, they're down into XQ range, does charge back in, and Bolulu very strong, but not strong enough to actually survive through that CC and take anyone with him there after Seiya goes down.
I think Seiya could have, a slight misplay. Yeah, if he jumps on the Renekton first as well during the taunt, I think he just kills Bolulu and then you just kill the form afterwards. So maybe a misclick, maybe just a slight misplay, but Isras will be very happy with the state of affairs. Seiya, that is some game sense right there, to think maybe they're sitting in this bush. Your tower's still half HP. That's good stuff from Seiya.
I'm honestly really impressed with Seiya this game. Like, he got counterpicked. He's getting non-stop attacked, and he has survived it very well. They're going to go forward onto Seiya. They don't see any other way out, but 4 members coming down.
Chain of Corruption doesn't quite connect. Bolulu jumps on towards Seiya, has a lot of damage coming out, but the Justice Punch will lock him up, and the taunt is there as well. Seiya takes down Bolulu, and this early game from Fenerbahce has fallen apart. 17 minutes in, Isras well in control. Ruin even getting chased out here by Bugax in the top lane. Ruin on his signature Rise pick is losing the 1v1. True Shot Barge comes out, but Bugax with the perfect execution will take the kill. He's 2-0 up in this lane.
It is 13-6 in favor of Isras, and it's not going to stop. Kiri now getting caught out.
Unstoppable Onslaught doesn't quite connect. Chapone and Hades are just waiting around the corner. They'll come in and join their team, but Azel, it was only 2 games ago we were saying Fenerbahce, Fongbu, Buffalo, definitely the top teams in this group. No challenging them. We saw PBB lose to Bombers, and now we see Isurus actually dismantling Fenerbahce.
Yeah, they really are. And I mean, honestly, it's becoming way too obvious, right? You know, Kire, all he is doing is going back to mid lane over and over. Now trying to go into slow, but that's going to be the end of that play. And you know, if all Kire wants to do is go to Bolulu, Seiya has survived that so incredibly well, and yes, he has 5 deaths, but he's 6 kills to his name. He's actually up in gold over his opponent significantly. And any time that gets counter-ganked now, it's gonna mean doom for Fenerbahce. So now they're in this position where your kind of time in the sun is a bit over here for Bolulu. The matchup is gonna be swinging more into the favor of Seiya, and he also has TP advantage when you're after that side lane, so they have to be very, very careful about how they play this out. If both your soul lanes are winning as they are, you can 1-3-1 with TP advantage so easily.
You definitely can, and this is the point in the game when Fenerbahce would usually say, Ruin, come and save us. We saw him do it in their finals. We saw him play this Rise to great effect in those matchups in Turkey, but once, well, we've just seen this game, him not actually be able to do too much into Bugax. I was expecting Seiya maybe to face check there, but once again, his game sense is on point, aware that Fenerbahce could be waiting for him. It's another Cloud Drake if Isurus want to take it, but at the moment they just seem to be controlling vision, trying to get some deep wards in.
And they're looking for Bolulu. This is
greedy.
Far.
Yeah, Odi there's the hero's entrance as well. Seiya coming in, the stun will land with that cocoon, the teleport used. Slow, great taunts. There's the Vanguard's edge as well as lots of damage coming out from Seiya. He jumps around the back of the fight. Odi coming back in. Seiya still alive. At least trying to take him down. Kire, double taunt comes out though. And this is a great fight. Bugax with the double execute. Using his ultimate to perfect effect. Keeps chasing into Japone here. It's a triple for Bugax. And 17 kills to 7 up. Isurus are looking for the inhibitor.
Yeah, this is inhibitor straight up. I mean, that was honestly amazing from Bugax. Comes in and just knocks them down with the ultimate. 5-0 now on the Akali. Fenerbahce are getting blasted in this game. The inhibitor is going to fall. It's the bottom inhib. As Baron is spawning, that is setting you up for success.
He's played this Akali once this split, lost on it, and then he comes out of the woodwork against the best top laner in the group. Ruin has shown us so often that he can totally dominate a top lane, but here, Isurus Gaming, like we both said, this is too greedy, you're going too far. Isurus pulled the trigger and everyone piles in.
Yeah, and that deep TP from the Akali really was the difference maker. They have Galio to keep Audi alive. I do think he pulled the trigger perhaps a little bit early. That is the only kind of criticism you can levy, but Seiya goes in. He's able to survive for so long, getting so much damage out, and then watch this ultimate here from Bugax. Goes back, hits the ultimate through 2, getting the double execute. Then flash forward for the 5-point strike, hits the slow, and is able to clean up Japone. He is going to be so damn strong on this.
Got Morello's finish now as well. Ruin, it's no way that you can deal with him in a pure 1v1. Ruin has the Realm Warp. He's going to try and get away with it. Dodges away, but out of it with the perfect execution. Stun. Bugax is able to keep him around. Slow there with the taunt as well. Forces him back. And it's purely Bugax all the time. 6-0-0, 2 items complete on the Akali, and there's nothing you can do about him in a side lane.
And I mean, Audi is 2-0-10. Quietly, you know, has gotten a massive amount of farm. He's up a level. He is really strong on the Hecarim as well. You know, this whole team is well and truly online. They are looking very, very good. They have the side lane advantages. They have the double TP for that advantage as well. Oh, nice repel from Kire.
So here comes Odi, onslaught shadows from the backline. Japone there with Glacial Fissure. Here's the hero's entrance though, and they just sweep them away. They are but dust under the feet of Isurus Gaming. A double for Seiya, looking for a little bit more as they dive underneath the tower. Odi will get the 3rd. The 4th will not quite go down as Hades escapes back towards his base, but Slow says, oh no you don't, my friend. I will chase you to the end of Summoner's Rift to take down the kill. Ruin has respawned, but there's not really much he can do. He doesn't even have the damage. Teleport behind him onto a super minion as Isurus Gaming look for the end.
Yeah, they're going to push it up. The minions are here. I think they probably should retreat. Kyria is coming up, and they will back out, but Isurus trying to make a statement here. I mean, they're running past 2 turrets, past the inhibitor, killing the AD, and then the TPing in. Like, oh, it's time to end.
You know what I love about the statement, though? They didn't even take the tier 2 in top lane. It's all about the kills, Azael.
Yeah.
Don't need objectives. We're 22 kills in 22 minutes. 8 kills from Fenerbahce. There is a 9,000 gold lead for our Latin American representatives, and they are showing us those first 3 games of the day do not mean anything. They can come out fighting.
Yeah, I mean, it's back-to-back games, and it does start off well for Kirei. Certainly does get out of there. The dive in, you're thinking, hey, maybe they can turn something around, but Galio has been there time and time again. It's been such an enormous pick for Isra. Slow has been having a monster game. And then War Angelus coming in, Audi diving deep onto Hades. Hades does get the kill, but
I love
hey,
some Slow.
Just keep on going. Slow able to clean that up. Then they're fighting Rune by the Nexus turrets. They do end up retreating, but they are just so monstrously strong. They also have incredible engage. Fenerbahce feel like they're almost checkmated. They're going to need some miraculous play, I feel like, to get back in this. But when you're losing in both solo lanes, you have not really any disengage for this Hecarim plus Galio combo, as well as really good ability to actually knock down the Baron when you have Blade of the Rune King plus Rage Blade on the Varus. Like, there's so many ways for Isra to actually win out this game. You can 1-3-1, you can force a fight, you can take the Baron, do whatever you want.
I want to see them do it by the numbers, Azael. I want to see that vision control. I want to see them just force the life out of Fenerbahce. There's no point in taking a 50-50 play anymore. Yeah. You can push forward. You have a massive gold lead. They can't answer you. Get that deep vision in. Go for the objectives and just starve Fenerbahce out of this game.
I mean, the way I kind of always like to look at it is what are your % chance to win the game now and look for something better.
Hades is dead. It's looking a lot better in terms of percentages right now. Getting up to probably about 95% in favor of Interest Gaming. With Super Minions pushing in that bottom lane, there's really nothing Fenerbahce can do.
They don't even need Baron, right? You could potentially just end the game, you know, walking it straight up. They are going to at least take down a second inhibitor. I think Baron is the safer play. You know, why take the risk? And, you know, it's like if you have, say, a 90% chance to win the game, a 50-50 is obviously horrible, right? You know, if you have a 10% chance to win the game, 50-50 sounds pretty nice.
Take it every
so,
time.
you know, it's always kind of looking at what is your current state in the game and what can you do to make that better.
Sneaky beaky chain of corruption's going to land here. Kirei torn it up.
Gone.
That is the jungler down, and immediately SOS Gaming turn their eyes towards that Nasher. They can just take it pretty easily. No real response available from Fenerbahce. The only thing you can see is a true shot barrage steal, but if that happens, it's just not SOS Gaming's day. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, you're depending on mistakes now as Fenerbahce, right? You know, if you have no reasonable way to win this game anymore, you're hoping that your opponents make a massive series of mistakes. Opponent gonna check, but the Baron is already gone. They are more than 10,000 gold ahead. They have 2 dragons to their name. Double Cloud, maybe even Triple Cloud if they want to actually grab it. Their engage is massive, and you can see, look at that gold graph. It is just getting so heavily in their favor.
You have to give so much credit as well to slow this game. His Galio taunt's been absolutely on point. I think he's got 2-1-18, so participated in 20 out of 24 kills in this game. Been in the right place at the right time. War Angelus has had a bit of a quiet one, 3-0-5, but that's mostly because the rest of his team has been doing all of the work for him. He's done what he needs to do as an AD carry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's farming up well. He has a lot of items. He still is strong, but it's been about these solo lanes. It's been about the playmakers, and they have been everywhere. Kirei, you know they have to go for some sort of miraculous pick. Maybe if you can instantly burst someone down, you can win the fight, but Slow is on the side here. He's ready to go in.
Hades jumping forward with the Arcane Shift, doesn't have the flash to get out. All 5 members of Fenerbahce here in the top lane, as now they have to answer mid and bot. Baron still up for the next 2.5 minutes. With the Akali pushing in bot, Bugat's really unanswered on this pick.
Yeah, I mean, they have Baron buff in 3 lanes, right? They're really kind of testing the wave clear here from Fenerbahce. It's very difficult to answer on all sides. They have 4 members top, so Hecarim's pushing in mid.
Slow there, 3-man spawn. There's the Vanguard's edge as well. Saya's gonna dive in, Odi jumps in, Ruin fighting off towards Bugax on the bottom side. Ruin actually winning the fight. Bugax is forced away, but on the top side, it's all Isurus all the time. Only Hades left alive. A 1-for-3 exchange in favor of Isurus. However, Hades answers with a kill of his own. He shuts down Odi. Still, 1 inhibitor down. Bottom lane has respawned. Inhibitor tower falls in the top lane, but Ruin is on his way up. Slow pressing forward. Flashes can't quite get it. And now Isurus may be forced back just a little bit because Ruin does have a lot of damage. They will take the inhibitor. They didn't get bot, so there's still 1 inhibitor alive for Fenerbahce. But it's a very, very dire state of affairs if you're a Turkish fan.
Yeah, it really is. It looked like Bugax there was trying to dive the Nexus turrets to take down Rune, so maybe getting a little bit too hyphy, but they're still in an incredible position.
No such thing as too hypey in a game like this.
I can test that point, but I will not go further.
We have 10 more kills than there are minutes in the game.
Either way, they're up 12K. They have all the inhibitors cracked. Last one to take down is in that bottom lane, but here it is one more time. You can see the taunt starting it off. Early redemption drop here from Slow as he's anticipating the all-in. Slow has honestly played a near immaculate game. He has been so on point. Audi even taking up as many turret shots as possible, allowing Seiya to have the time to take down Japone. At the same time, Rune did get a kill that, perhaps stops the game from ending, and Hades flashing in, nails the Q to take out Audi. So they do get a couple kills to try to keep some miracle chance alive. But if Isurus do play this slowly, get the last inhib, walk around as 5 members, I think it's all there.
Jenny comes straight onto Ruin. He's stunned up. He's done. He's unstoppable. It's Seiya. This is Isurus Gaming just cleaning up the fight in the base. There's nothing Fenerbahce can do. Press your buttons all you like. Isurus Gaming are here to party. They shut them down. They catch out Fenerbahce. And this is an incredible performance from our Latin American representatives. Isurus Gaming show us you can never count them out. They still have a shot at qualifying for knockouts.
Back-to-back upsets in Group A. Isurus and Bombers have been counted out by almost everyone, and now Fenerbahce 2-2 tied with the Bombers. Both those teams just one game behind Fengbu, and behind them 1-3 now for Isurus. They still have a shot here. They still have games to give, and what an incredible performance from them. This was not just a win that they barely scraped by. They just destroyed Fenerbahce.
They styled on Fenerbahce this game, and especially Bugax in that top lane. The fact that he was just able to take down Ruin after Ruin has been dominating every other top laner in the group is impeccable from him.
Yeah, certainly very impressive.